I believe most all funnels and marketing activities are what I call me first funnels. They're
Yes.
engineered to move the end user through a sequence that I desire with a
Hmm.
specific outcome that I desire. And over time, I started realizing that was not what I wanted to do because yes, I might make a sale. Yes, I might help my client get growth, et cetera, and in the front end. But at the same time, we could potentially be hurting a relationship, hurting rapport, and actually limiting the growth or stunting the growth of that account and that
Hmm.
opportunity. And so I flipped it when I started realizing the underlying elements that actually made a difference in it. And since the beginning of time, humans have done business with humans.
Hey, what's up, guys? Jeremy here, the online ads guy, founder of Digital Goliath Marketing. Just came off an episode with Brandon Falcon. So this guy specializes, he's been in the game for about 14 years. He specializes in B2B marketing. He does it in a very unique way, and he's angling his agency and everything that around everything he does towards SaaS companies. Quite interesting conversation, I thought. I learned a lot of stuff from him, especially the way he's approaching the partnerships, which is a huge thing when it comes to SaaS. So yeah, check it out. All right, guys, welcome back to another episode of Marketing AI for SMEs. We are basically anchoring this show to people who's revving about $300,000 to $2 million a year. But today I have a very special guest, Brandon. Brandon probably does a lot more around the area in SaaS, software as a service. I don't read out these long intros because I don't think it does it justice. Brandon, why don't you just tell us more about yourself and we can go from there?
Yeah, awesome. So great being here. And been in the marketing world, obviously how we connected. You saw some content from me from the marketing world in the past. Been in that for about 14 years. Started from the ground up and moved into a full service marketing agency over time.
Yeah.
Eventually shifted that into a focus on SaaS, so software as a service or just software entities as a whole. And then over time, the last probably 3 years, shifted that further into actually guiding consulting software companies on how to build stronger relationships. We realized the foundation was the actually grew a business was more so relationship building than the actual marketing sides themselves. So marketing was a tool to build the relationships, and so we've shifted a bit further. So quite a bit of evolution over time, but still all relevant and tied together.
100%, 100%. So 14 years ago, I only been in the game for about, I would say, I've been in the game for about 8 years only. Like 14 years ago, what was your entrance? Because my entrance was like, I came out of uni doing marketing, and then everything was too slow. Right?
Yeah.
Before that, I had small business. I mean, like this SEO is too slow. Everything's too slow. No business is gonna wait for 9 months. So I got impatient. I got into ads. It started working straight away. But it was easier time before COVID and during COVID. So what was your entrance?
Yeah, so I entered sort of accidentally. I knew I wanted to do something on my own. At the time, I did actually, way back then, I was doing even IT and like computer repair. And then I realized I really don't like fixing things that break, that I don't know how they broke, why they broke. Like it frustrated me. And so I'm like, I actually had a client like, hey, what about, I have a website I need and things like that. And I actually moved in as a web designer for a while. That's what actually started it off. But very quickly realized that similar issue with computer repair, etc., was I did not like fixing things. I did not like that. Not that it wasn't fun in its own way. It was just a lot all at once, and then it just slow trickled. Where I wanted something more consistent, where I was consistently challenged, and I got to consistently see growth. So and you're absolutely right. It was slow when SEO was a thing, and so at the time, we're talking 6-9 months, a year before we got like a lot of times good momentum. Just like you, started playing the ad space, expedited that. That was fun. That was back when they weren't fighting you back so much. You could run ads and actually make a significant difference right off the bat. Now it takes a lot more finessing.
Yeah.
But it was a wild, wild west back then.
Yeah, it was. I mean, I never got into SEO game. I think there was some money to be made, and you know, then now everything is really hard. So I also, so one of the posts, as Brandon alluded to earlier, was the post about the he's about relationships, and he was talking about you do these walks with the camera, right? So Great Orlando area, I had to look it up what's known for. So that's
Yep.
that's where it is. Great Orlando area. Like there's
Yeah, for that
trails
one
like that.
specifically.
Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
I
All
do
right.
it all over the country actually. So a
Yeah.
lot of times over the summers, I travel with my wife. We go RVing across country. We started that
Yeah.
after COVID, and
Yeah.
so I've done a lot of those types of videos in a
Yeah.
bunch of cool places. The
Yeah.
Orlando ones are just kind of home.
Okay, nice. Yeah, so I was watching one of those, and you were talking about three fast filters for referral-ready strategic partnerships. So even though it's a
Yep.
mouthful, it really mattered to me. It really resonated with me because as ad specialists, we work a lot with SEO people, right? Because they are complementary services, and your three filters for a good relationship, good business partnership would be shared customer profile, so the business sizes should be about the same, right? We
Yep.
shouldn't be latching on like a big giant and hoping that
Yep.
something trickles off. That's pretty silly. I had to learn that the hard way. Complementary offers, so that we don't step on each other's toes. It's really important
Yep.
because sometimes SEO people they do ads, and SEO people is always worried that ads gonna start taking some SEO stuff out off their plate,
Mm.
and that's bad, right?
Yep.
And then a real champion on their side who will push for for the introductions.
Yep.
So I heard
Yep.
that was crazy, and then I looked into it. Then I found the framework ERM. So I
Yep.
don't want to butcher it. Why don't you explain it? Because I don't want to butcher it, man. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's emotional resonance marketing. So it's a variation of marketing where we prioritize the emotional impact to the end user. My belief, again, coming from marketing, just like you for such a long time here,
Yep.
I believe most all funnels and marketing activities are what I call me first funnels. They're
Yes.
engineered to move the end user through a sequence that I desire with a
Mm-hmm.
specific outcome that I desire. And over time I started realizing that was not what I wanted to do because it yes, I might make a sale. Yes, I might help my client get growth, et cetera, and in the front end. But at the same time, we could potentially be hurting a relationship, hurting rapport, and actually limiting the growth or stunting the growth of that account and that
Mm-hmm.
opportunity. And so I flipped it when I started realizing the underlying elements that actually made a difference in it. And since the beginning of time, humans have done business with humans.
Yep.
We do business with people we know, we like, we trust. And
Yep.
so my ERM approach went to, okay, well, how do I build an emotional bond with someone that makes them and mutually, how do we build trust with each other so that they want to move forward? I'm not guiding them, I'm not forcing them. I'm just saying, here, these are the options. Does this make sense to you? And so we go to where they are in that in their journey or their relationship journey, and then
Mm-hmm.
we offer the next logical movement through our system.
Yep.
Still, in that aspect, a funnel, but we
Yep.
don't force it. We don't make them do anything. We guide them on this is possible. Yay or nay? Are
Yep.
you interested? And we started realizing that just works so much better.
That's right.
That when you give people the choices and you're not forcing it, etc., and the
Yep.
ads, the SEO lead
Yep.
towards them making logical movements that they want to do, people
Yep.
start saying yes a lot easier,
Yeah.
and
Cool.
it helps.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. So, I mean, when I hear that, where do you think that applies to the most? Is it in those strategic partnerships, or is it actually now we've taken on the client and then we're fixing their funnel, like, or is it
I love
like,
it.
is it everywhere? Is it
Yeah. So we narrowed it to three core areas that we
okay?
prioritize this approach with. Now, it can work with general customer acquisition, et cetera, but we've realized it takes a lot more. Let's be honest. This is labor intensive in the sense of like that you're still using a human to have a human relationship, conversation, meetings, et cetera, with someone else on the other end. So
Yep.
it didn't generally make sense in mass production yet or a mass audience like
Okay.
engagement yet. So we
Yep.
we narrowed it to the three. So it's either VIP client prospecting. So what we do is we ask our client like with their ideal ICP, we kind of go back and forth with them for a minute. We find
Yep.
3 to 5 of their absolute best clients. Why do they like them? Why is it a win for everybody, et cetera, et cetera. And we kind of build a profile of common denominator across those. And we say,
Mm-hmm.
great, let's go find more of those types of people and build relationships with them because we know the common pains with those types of businesses.
Yep.
We know their common obstacles, et cetera, et cetera. So
Mm-hmm.
that seems to work really well. So VIPs,
Yep.
that's again your whales, your guys buying bigger
Yes.
things.
Yep.
Two, strategic partnerships, just like you mentioned, which is where
Okay.
you saw that
Yep.
original post from. That
Yep.
is one of the strongest industries. Finding the people
Mm.
that align and want to obviously go along the journey with you,
Yep.
and where you have reciprocity, where I can give them something, they can give me something, we're winning together. It's not just give me
Yep.
referrals, but my approach is we lead with a partnership or referral. So if I
Yeah.
hop on a call with you, I'm going to show up and say, hey, this is what I found this last month that I think aligns with you guys.
Yeah.
Here's one, two, three
I
potential
like it.
introductions I can make. And then lastly is retention. A lot of times these organizations have clients, but they're scared at that 11-month mark. Are they going to renew? Are they going to buy more
Yeah.
from me? Are they even do they like me because I've not heard from them in a year?
Yeah. Yeah.
And we realized that we could help them install a system that helps them retain and keep the end user and potentially even upsells, up buys, etc.
Yeah.
Um,
So
so
that's
yeah,
the
three
thing. Yeah.
parallels.
Yeah, yeah,
Yep.
very cool. So when it comes to the VIP, so you just like just say somebody came to you and goes, "Oh, let's do that VIP thing." Well, if that made
Yep.
the most sense to him at the time, that
Yep.
then becomes more like you do the research because I think everybody comes to
Yeah.
go, "We want senior decision makers," right? But that's not really
Yeah.
appropriate. Do you know what I mean? That's anywhere and everywhere.
Exactly.
So you have to really dig deep and find out. So you do the research, workshop a little bit, and then put the framework on, kind of thing.
Yeah, we do something called a 1-1-1 sequence.
Yeah.
So one audience, one offer, one outcome. So for that type of situation, for usually the VIP prospecting is like I said, we hop on usually it's a 1 hour call, and we dig through and record the entire thing.
Yeah.
I'm looking for
Sure.
if they light up and what areas that they get
Yeah.
excited about and et
Yeah.
cetera. And they start to just talk about what they perceive is their end users experience.
Yeah.
And we get a lot of good information, like what do they perceive is what the client's saying they like, and just a bunch of other cool stuff. But we're doing it for 3 to 5 accounts only, so you have to be very picky on who they actually really want. I
Yeah.
don't let them tell me 10, 20, 30 for a
Yeah.
reason.
Yeah.
And once we identified that, we then go and look and see, okay, how many interactions happened or touch points? Was it 10? Was it 30? Whatever. It's usually somewhere
Yeah.
in the 10 to 15 range. And what were the channels? What mattered? In our opinion, again, before we worked on specific channels only, certain
Yeah.
ads, et cetera, et cetera. Then we got platform agnostic because we're like, we will go wherever the
Makes
pattern
sense.
is.
Yeah, that's right. Wherever they are.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly. And
Go to
we
them.
engineered for that. So once we know the right types of people, we know
Yeah.
the pains they typically have and how my
Yeah.
clients solve them. We know the interaction, the touch points needed, which is usually the time frame it takes, the buying cycle,
Yeah.
and the channels that are necessary. We basically have every ingredient we need to engineer a perfect relationship on scale over and over and over again.
Got you.
That's what we come in and help them do.
Yeah, nice. And now we're talking about the strategic partnerships, and I do want to talk about SaaS because as an advertiser, like SaaS is B2B is hard in general if I'm
Yeah.
only doing advertising. Do you know what I mean? Because it's one,
Mm-hmm.
I'm a cog in the bigger system. I don't get to
Yeah.
control a lot of things with advertising. So when we're talking about strategic partnerships, like I don't understand enough about SaaS products. So with my example of ads and SEO, how it's like a symbiotic relationship. Like, is there a lot of that in SaaS? Like different angles?
Oh, a
that
significant
why-
amount.
A significant,
Yep.
really? Straight up?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So in that one, I mean, we've got dev agencies that maybe have not been not considered. I mean, because again, they're installing the pixels and the tracking and things like that in
Yeah.
your back end.
Yeah.
That is a referral partner. If they're being called in to do analytic setups or just tracking better,
Yeah.
they're probably preparing themselves for ad integration.
Yeah,
So
okay.
that's a channel
So
there. Consultants, another great one, because you get a lot of the CMOs and stuff like that. They're coming in and they know the overall vision, but they don't know how to implement on it. So
Yeah.
absolutely, on the ad side, this is just
Yeah.
in that space. Yeah, there's so many parallels that work, and we reach out and say, "Hey, this is what I do. This is my audience size. This is who I actually work with. I
Yeah.
think you guys are kind of aligned. Would you love to hop on a call, walk through together, and see if there's some synergy here? And if so, maybe we have some sort of referral opportunity for each other." I go on, have that kind of conversation. If it goes
Yeah.
well and I like them, then yeah, the following meeting, the following month, I show up with 2 or 3 potential referrals for them that I connected with.
Yeah.
And
Okay,
what
I can see
happens, rest of the project kicks in. Yeah,
Yeah,
they
definitely.
usually come around and have something back.
Yeah, and I can definitely see it. Well, I wrote on some other questions here. Is there like
Yeah.
certain like metrics that applies to SaaS that will surprise people on the streets? Like, oh, I didn't. I mean, the retention or that's normal. The
Yeah.
churn, that's normal. Is there anything like that's like, oh wow, I didn't know. I didn't think about that in the industry.
They have a lot more churn than a lot of other industries. I mean, I'm not sure if that's
Yeah.
unique to that space, but yeah, but because it's being it's software based,
Yeah.
and there's a lot of competition. There's a lot of software tools that do a lot of similar things. That is a lot of churn I find,
Yeah.
especially in the startup space,
Yeah.
which is a lot of times where we help a lot in
Yeah.
Series A, Series B usually, and that's the ones I prefer, honestly, because it
Yeah.
really just screams out we're not differentiating ourselves enough. We're not solving a big enough problem or a specific enough, not even if it's not big
Yeah.
enough, a
Yeah.
specific enough problem that someone says this validates me continuing to pay for this because it truly solves my problem. So if you do, I don't know, video editing software, well, there's
Yeah.
a million tools that do it.
Yeah.
Why would I pick one over the other than experience in the tool? Well, when
Yeah.
you can do very specific things better than another tool can, now we're able to start differentiating ourselves. And that's where we find it really key to just identify that core audience, identify those VIP prospects. It
Yeah.
bleeds into all the other areas, including partnerships, including retention, etc. Understanding who we serve best and how we serve them best, and then honestly killing a lot of the excess noise of our tool does this
Yeah.
actually helps significantly.
When you're just answering the question, I look at you. It's like when you've done it for so long, you get better at quickly identifying. Yeah, like
Oh
somebody
yeah.
comes with a SaaS, you're like, I say, well, you should
Yeah.
do a little bit more of this, and then
Yeah.
well, if you rewind back 7 years ago when you started doing this advisory stuff, whatever, you would have been harder, I
Yep.
think, because
Of course. Yeah.
came you were like, well, I don't know where we are. Another thing that you just brought up, which my only exposure is on TV shows, which was probably made up, like Series A. I watch Silicon Valley, Series A, Series
Okay.
B.
Oh, I loved it. Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
like I don't know, like is it real? Like they
It's
have
not
floors and floors
far.
of people.
Yeah.
It's not far. Yeah,
I've
that
had
happens.
this. I've had this conversation with a couple
Yeah,
different friends slash founders, software company founders,
yeah.
and it's not far from the truth.
Okay,
Obviously, there's exaggerations in
for
it
sure.
because it's
Yeah,
it's entertainment,
yeah,
but a lot of it is similar, especially working with the hedge funds, angel investors, etc.
yeah, yeah.
They operate very similar, and
Do
it's
you
kind
like
of fun.
that?
And
You got to
yeah, and it's
pitch.
kind of funny thing is
Yeah,
like you mentioned, is like like the partnerships. That's one of the best channels because again,
all
they
the
have people just coming
connections.
in by the flocks, exactly. And
Yeah,
again, they want to know that their investment is secured. So that's
yeah.
a great channel to go in.
Yeah, yeah, got you. And then my last question is with the how SaaS is now. Like I can't
Mm,
code. I don't know what a closed bracket is, right? I have no idea. But
mm.
with vibe coding, I don't know to do it. But with vibe coding and all the noise around it, right? Like how does your role now evolve as people are like more pressure to quickly do it before the next kid comes? The smaller teams are making bigger things. Like
Yeah,
what happens to you? Like I know you got a
totally.
place, but like how does your role evolve in the ecosystem?
So as vibe coding has become more of a thing, and I'll kind of caveat there is I'm not opposed to that. I love the idea of it. I think I got into my world even in development and web developer in the beginning was early stage vibe coding was I didn't
Okay.
have a formal education. I learned it from YouTube and
Yeah.
courses.
Love it.
Nowadays there's tools that help do that. I think if it helps you get to an MVP, it's
Yeah.
worthwhile. I think if it helps you clarify what you actually want to bring to the world, it's valuable. I think
Okay.
it gets confusing for you and the end users when you are trying to outcompete or outpace something that's already there. I see this often. We're like, oh, I want to
Mm.
be the next blank.
Yeah.
And I stop them right there because that's almost a point where I don't a lot of times want to work at a certain point
Yeah.
with it.
Yeah.
If they can't
Yeah.
clearly define, well, what do you do differently? Because just doing something better than someone else, we're just going to
Yeah.
be in a race forever. There's nothing unique about that.
Ah.
And they're already funded, they're running. Like, I'm not
Yeah.
going to, not that I can't,
Yeah.
it's not original. It's not,
Yeah.
you're not passionate about that.
Yeah.
And I want you to say, hey, I love this. I want to solve this. I would do this if it was for free because that's my
Yeah.
passion is like, I will do it because I love doing this.
Yeah.
Um, and that's what I'm looking for. And once they get that, then we're
Yeah.
on the same page. So, okay, cool. Let's now really narrow down to what you do differently. And a
Yeah.
lot of times with the vibe coding, my biggest fear is it's instant gratification in a lot of ways. We can have something deployed in days, hours.
Yeah.
And
Slows
the
down.
issue with that is
Yeah.
feature cramming, and that's one of the biggest things that we advise organizations
Yeah.
against. Feature cramming being like every software has oh, we do this. We now do AI built in and things like that, and
Oh.
it's
Yeah.
overwhelming for an end user to make a decision. It's too much, and then when they have fatigue and they stop, they pause, and they say, "I come back to it." And guess what? Now we're spending time waiting ultimately
Yeah.
for someone else to send ads to them, et cetera,
Yeah.
and bring them another direction that was clearer, more direct, more specific. And so I
Yeah.
guide them, less is more. We want to start with less. You can always expand it later.
Man, that's so
Um,
interesting because that's the hill you're gonna do. Like when you host it, like I just started doing podcasting, right? You're looking for
yeah.
guests that have hills that they'll die on. Do you know what I mean? And that's
Yep.
your thing.
Yep.
Because you
Exactly.
know why?
Yep.
Because that thing fits with the ERM model
Yep.
when they're
Yep.
excited. Because
Exactly.
if they're
Yep.
going for a race and they're just looking for pitch decks or advice on how to tweak the
Yep.
wording to blah blah, like
Yep.
it's not your thing.
Yeah. It's not.
It's
It's
not your
not my
thing.
thing. Yep.
It's not your thing.
Yep.
It's got
I
to
want to
be
grow
like
it with
a
you.
yeah. That's exactly right. Cool, man. So if people wanted to come and find you, so do you just take on SaaS now? Or are you still cool with relationships with high ticket?
Yeah. So we do. So we target for software because that is
Yep.
our niche. So our advertisement, our messaging goes out there.
Yep.
But we do work in spaces that are parallel or complementary that are relationship focused. So basically, if you offer services or high ticket services
Yeah.
that are worth VIP or strategic partnerships,
Yes.
then yes, we can still do it. Some of those have been business services, consultative services, businesses, nonprofit, oddly enough, because again, they're looking for both
Yep.
financial backers and just awareness. All of those actually work really well, and we have clients in those spaces. But software is what we publicly put out there because just
Yeah.
saying, like I mentioned, is you need to have one voice, one message that you're putting out to the world. And if it
Less is
happens to
more.
have a parallel on top of that, great.
Yeah.
If you want to come in and explore it with me, we're happy to explore and tell you what we
Yeah.
can and can't do. And like I mentioned, we lead with helping first, that because this is our passion,
Hundred
this is what we
percent.
love to do.
Yeah.
And yeah, if it works, great. And if it doesn't, I'm gonna tell you, hey, there's some reason this doesn't work out for one reason or another.
Yeah.
This is what I know that can help you. Go do it. Go do it on your own. You don't need me to do that part if because I would
Yeah.
slow you down in that aspect.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I mean, if anyone's I listen up to here and listen to your passion in your voice, I think they can tell like you're not gonna BS them around. Like
Yeah.
it's
Yep.
real deal. Yeah,
Exactly.
let
That's my
people know
hope.
where they can find you. Yeah, let people know where they
Yeah,
can find
definitely.
you, how to connect with you. Yeah,
Yeah, so again, Brandon Falcon. You can basically find me anywhere. I have every social platform I can think of. But besides that, my company or my organization's name is Falconics. So it's Falcon with an ICS at the end. Same idea. We're on most all social channels. I think probably most active on platforms like LinkedIn
yeah.
for obvious
That's
reasons,
where I
business
found you.
networking.
Yeah,
Exactly. Yep. Very active on there. But I'm happy for anyone to reach out to me in any which way. I just
have
want
a
to
chat.
make a difference in the world.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, last question. You know your website has got that like the video. That's
Yep.
supposed to be a falcon flying around.
It's a drone doing it, but it's supposed to imply or kind of give that feeling of
Yeah,
yes,
that's what I'm thinking.
that you're in the first person. Yeah, I wanted to invoke a feeling, and a lot of the imagery that we utilize is
Yeah.
from travels I do with my wife. So I wanted
Yeah.
to
Okay.
integrate my world,
Yeah.
my passions into my business, etc., and make it one. I want
Yeah.
people to feel something the way I feel something when I go to these amazing places. I do a lot of my best like strategy and
Yeah.
these beautiful remote places and hiking in the backcountry. And
Yeah.
I wanted other people to feel that even if they're not the one experiencing it. A lot of times, leaving with this part is the software founders I've realized are wanting some sort of freedom. That's why they go into this world. They believe they're going to get freedom. And I wanted to encourage them that if you chase what you enjoy and you're good
Yeah.
at doing it and it is your thing,
Yeah.
you can have all of the stuff you want. So, yep.
Cool. Amazing
Hopefully
stuff.
that.
Thanks again, man, for jumping on. I'm Jeremy, online ads guy, founder of Digital Goliath Marketing. And yeah, thanks, Brandon. Thanks for everything, man.
Yeah.
Great
Thanks for having
episode.
me.
Hey, what's up? Jeremy Yang, the online ads guy here, owner of Digital Goliath Marketing. If you found whatever you're watching helpful, you found it interesting, like, subscribe, comment, suggest other topics you think we should cover here. We've aimed to release weekly episodes, helping SMEs with marketing, advertising, talking to professionals about growth, processes, all that good stuff. All right, see you on the next one.